Hey, my name is Samar. I also go by Sam or First Time Panner. Any of those you want to call me, you can. This will be a get ready with me. In this video, I'll be attempting to recreate an eyeshadow look that I saw on Steph from It's Just Steph. So I'll post the look here. I'm gonna try to do that with the Dose of Colors Cutting Edge palette. This is the last palette that I still have yet to use in my no pen left behind for September. Spoiler. So once I use this, my goal for September will be hit. But Steph posted that video, I believe on August 30th when I had just rolled this palette in. I guess because this palette was on my mind when I was watching that video, I just thought for like the first half of the video that she was using this palette, which I don't even know if she owns this, but it got me thinking that I should try to recreate it with this one because I really love that look and I thought it was so beautiful. So that's what I'm gonna do today, and I've already primed my eyelids with my Milani eyeshadow primer, and I set it with the Days shade in my Sigma Ambiance palette. So first, and I did just, not like deep clean, but I did just like do a quick like daily brush cleaner wash on all my brushes, so they shouldn't have like pigment left over from the previous days, but they do look pretty stained. So I'm gonna take this kind of like buffing shader brush, and oh, this is, by the way, this is what the palette looks like, and I'm gonna take this deepest matte and put it in my outer corner and crease and probably the outer part of my lower lash line. You'll see how I end up doing it, but it's kind of what it looked like. Like she had the deepest shade, which kind of looked a little bit like this one, was there, and then she blended out the edges and did the transition with like a warm brown, and then she had this bright neon green on her lower lash line, and the closest thing I have to that in this palette would be this shade. And then it looked like she had a yellow green on her lids, so I'm probably gonna layer these two metallics. I figured I should just swatch the palette, so this is what it looks like, and I think I can recreate this look pretty decently. So again, I'm gonna go in with that deepest shade, and I don't know if this is necessarily gonna be a super chatty get ready with me because, oh, by the way, this is the first time I'm using this palette. I've never used this before, even though I've had this for about 3 years now. That shade was very pigmented. I don't know why I didn't think it would be, because Dose of Colors shades are usually very pigmented. I'm just gonna try to buff this out as much as possible without blending out the edges too much, and I'm still gonna have that other warm brown shade as my transition anyway, so it's not too big of a deal. But yeah, I don't know if this get ready with me is gonna be super chatty, or at least like not relevant. I might just ramble, but I don't really have much to talk about right now, at least not stuff that I can talk about. There's a lot of stuff in my life that's going on behind the scenes, as it pretty much has always been for the past like over a year now, but you know, I still can't talk about it in due time. Oh, I guess one thing is my friend who's from Mexico, she had me start watching the Love is Blind Mexico version. It's like way more, at least personally, it's way more interesting than the American one in my opinion, but I've only seen one season of the American one, so maybe the newer seasons are better, but I like the Mexico one. Don't hate me for saying this, but I do think that show is kind of like ridiculous, obviously, because personally I don't see how it would work out getting married after like just talking to each other for like 2 weeks. But also a lot of people go on that show. This is like why I think it's really dumb. Like, you can do whatever you want and like get married however you want, but a lot of people go on that show and then they're like when they, I don't, if you've never seen it, it's like at the very end you can decide whether or not you want to get married. Like, you can leave someone at the altar, and like the entire however many weeks leading up to it, I'm just going in with that warm brown shade now, but like the entire however long it is leading up to it, a lot of the people are like, yeah, I'm just getting cold feet, like, I don't know, like, if I should be getting married, and I don't know why they're pressuring me when this is such a big decision. And it's like, you went on this show knowing that's what the show was, and now you think that other person is crazy for expecting you to follow through with the marriage. So I don't know, that's the part that doesn't really make sense to me. I feel like these people are gaslighting each other, but that's just my opinion. This is what it's looking like so far. I haven't blended them together yet, so don't get worried, but I totally just lost my train of thought, so I'm gonna keep blending. I almost by instinct just put that shade on my lower lash line, but I'm trying to save most of my lower lash line except for like the very outer corner for that lightest green matte. But these shadows, like, I don't want to say they're not blending well together because they are blending into each other, but they don't like look the best blended together. And I'm not saying Steph's look didn't look good, but we definitely are using slightly different tones. Like, I think the green she used was a little bit more gray and the brown she used was a little bit brighter. But maybe I'm jumping the gun. Maybe it's gonna all come together in the end. For some reason I have sparkle on my eyes. Maybe there was a tiny bit of residue on this brush, but for now I think I'm actually ready to start going in with the metallics. I'm gonna use my NYX glitter primer, but I'll just cut this part out. Here's what, I just showed you the swatches on my hand, but this is what it looks like, and I'm gonna put it all over my lid. Oh my goodness, this is so pretty. It's like way more sparkly than I thought it would be. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. I love that shade. That's like my type of shade. I don't know how far I'll bring it in, but now I'm gonna go in with that like yellow gold shade, which looks like this. I love a good yellow green combo. If you've been watching me, you'd know that I love mixing yellow and green together. And I'm gonna try to keep this on just the inner part. I probably should have used like a small brush instead of my huge chunky fingers, but it's too late now. I'm not doing anything after this anyway, except for cleaning my apartment, so it doesn't matter. I'm gonna take this little pencil brush and try to just like carefully buff out the edges of that and try to like blend them together. I love that so much. It's not looking exactly like hers because obviously this is not the same palette, so they're not the same shades, but I'm really liking how that looks, and I'm gonna try to just stamp it. It's not really working. Okay, I did what I could with that lightest shade on my lower lash line. Definitely not as bright as the one Steph was wearing, but I do still like it. And then I'm going to bring, Steph had the yellow, or what looked like yellow, on her like inner corner, but it did look like it was brightened up with something, so I'll probably use an inner corner shade out of that Ambiance palette. But let me just put this in my inner corner. I usually do my inner corner after I do my base makeup because it can sometimes get like rubbed off with the with my concealer. But this look is not super serious again, so I'm not gonna be too fussy about it. That's actually so pretty because it's like a light wash of color with a bunch of sparkle in it. I'll also take a picture after, but I think I'm just gonna leave it like that, honestly. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna leave it like this. So this will be the actually quickly let me buff out the very edges of the eyeshadow because it's looking a little stark. Okay, now I have the finished product. I haven't done like the rest of the eye makeup or any of my face makeup, but this is what this is looking like, and here's the palette. I really like the way this turned out. It was a good first use on this palette. I should have been using this palette a long time ago, but you know, sometimes when you're panning makeup, you get so caught up in using your things that you neglect other things, which is like the total opposite of the point of panning. I'm going to wipe away fallout. I don't know if I had any fallout. I didn't check. I just always do this no matter what. And I'm gonna put on my Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen, which I'm doubling as a primer and a project. Most of the stuff that I'm putting on my face today is going to be in a project. 90% of what's in my little makeup acrylic organizer is project pan stuff. This is where I house all of my project pan makeup, which is just what I have in front of me. You're pretty much about to see what I use on like pretty much a daily basis. Before I go in with like my base products, I forgot I have to do my eyeliner, because once I put on my base products and then I put on my eyeliner after, I usually smudge it from like putting my hand on my face. So I'm gonna do this really quickly with my Urban Decay eyeliner in 0. But speaking of marriage, I love, this is like, I feel like I'm confessing, but I still love watching those husband does my makeup tags. I like probably once a week, I'm not even kidding, I'll search up the tag and see like if anyone else is posted, or if like I get like new recommendations of the videos that I haven't seen. And I just like, husband or boyfriend, but I do feel like the husbands usually try harder. But I just love watching that so much, and not even to laugh at them, because like they're not supposed to be good at it if they've never tried it. It's just so funny to me to like, and I like to watch the ones where they're actually trying to do a good job, because like you can just see the wheels turning in their head. It's just so funny to me to see, like, because I know, or at least like I think I know what I'm doing by now. It is so funny to me to see other people do it and have like literally no clue what to do, and see like their reasoning behind what they're doing. Now I'm gonna go in with my Rare Beauty bronzer stick in the shade Always Sunny. Does anyone else watch those videos, or like just any tag videos in general? Like I think those challenge tag videos were so funny and fun that I definitely just put too much bronzer on because I was distracted from talking. I also skipped doing my color corrector. This is the e.l.f. color correcting stick. You can't get it anymore, I'm sorry. But I feel like we should bring back the like 2010s YouTube challenges and tags, like when pretty much like every other video, some channels like would just always do challenges and tags, and that's like all they did. I think we should bring that back to a certain extent, because that was like when I was having the most fun watching YouTube. I didn't start posting until a few years ago, but I've always been on YouTube watching and like enjoying that type of content. I think we should bring it back. This is the Neutrogena concealer in the shade Almond. One of my other favorite like challenges or tags was the like 10-minute makeup challenge, 5-minute makeup challenge, 1-minute makeup challenge. Those were so fun to watch for me. Like even before I was ever into makeup, because I didn't even start doing makeup until around like, I would say like 2014, and that was just like a mascara and lipstick. But I didn't even start doing like a full face of makeup until 2021. And even still, I used to love watching those challenges, like the 5-minute makeup challenge. This is the Fenty contour stick in the shade Truffle. And you know what? We just don't do that stuff anymore. I'm gonna try not to mess up my hair as much as possible while I blend this stuff in, because I already did my hair for this video so I could look presentable. But I usually like really dig into my hairline to get my products like blended into my scalp. I don't know. Are there any videos that like you wish we could bring back? Because maybe we should just do them. I really do believe that we should be the change we would like to see in the world. So just do your tag videos, or like do the videos that you want to see on the internet. I think instead of like actual blush, since I don't have any in projects right now, and I didn't bring any out with me, I'm gonna do what I have been doing when I want a cool tone blush, which is using my Clinique Chubby Stick. This is in my Flush Them Out project, and the goal is to use it like how I intend to use it in the future. But honestly, I probably won't be using this shade on my lips because it's a lot like more pink than I thought it would be. So I'll probably just like keep using it as a blush. Has anyone read any good books recently? I'm in a book club right now. We just do one book a month, but I'm really enjoying it. The one that we're reading now, or like reading, because I'm just listening to it on audiobook, is Legends and Lattes. I'm not done with it yet, but I need to finish it before the month ends. I like at first, okay, if my book club friends are watching this, don't listen because you're gonna hear this when we meet up, but at first I was kind of iffy because I'm not a super huge fantasy fan. I like didn't read much fantasy when I was younger, and now that I'm getting back into reading, I especially don't really care for it too much. But my friend, the one who like chose the book that we're reading now, which is Legends and Lattes, I'm gonna put my powder on, which is like my Maybelline Franken powder. No, it just crumbled. If you can see that mess in there, that's what I'm gonna be using right now. And I'm going to be very delicate. But anyway, I'll just have to fix this later. She recommended also to me a different fantasy book, and for the longest time I was just like, I was going to read it eventually, but it was definitely like very, very low on my list. And finally she was like, here, just like use my Audible, you can listen to it on an audiobook. And I listened to it while I was out of town, like the last time I left town for those 2 weeks, and oh my goodness, it was so good. It was called, if you're like a romantasy reader, you've probably heard it because I guess it's popular. I really don't know because I'm not like in the fantasy fandom, but it's called One Dark Window, and then it has a sequel, Two Twisted Crowns. I listened to them both like within the span of a week probably. This thing is getting really crumbly now. I feel like I messed up. I'm gonna use this as a mirror now so that I don't have to keep like flipping it over because I'm spilling a lot on my bed. Yeah, I just really, if you can see like all the powder that's flying everywhere, this is such a mess. But I really enjoyed that because I'm just like, I think one of the reasons I'm not into fantasy mostly is because like, honestly, I'm not that deep. I do not care about world building at all. I really don't. And it's weird because I was like really into Harry Potter when I was a kid, so it's not like I don't like the genre of fantasy building at all, but I'm much more character driven and plot driven. I don't care about your fantasy world. I'm so sorry, but I just don't. And that was the reason why I like was reluctant to start reading that, but it is so good. Very character and backstory driven. If you're like on the fence about it, I highly recommend it as someone who doesn't even read that much fantasy. Not too much world building, and like the world building it does is more like origin story type, which is my favorite. I love a good origin story. So yeah, I just had a really good time listening to that because I listened to both books. I didn't read them. This is probably the last use I'm gonna get out of this. This is the Mario Badescu facial spray, the rose one. I ran out of my setting spray a while ago, and now I'm about to run out of this too. Oh, I got it in my mouth. Oh my god. I feel like I should call it quits, but I literally don't have another setting spray lined up, so I'm gonna keep using it. That's tomorrow's problem now. I'm going to put on my e.l.f. Big Mood mascara, which If you watched my other Get Ready With Me, you know how I feel about this. I didn't like it, but this is the only black mascara I have open right now. I only ever have one black and one brown mascara open at a time, so I'm just gonna keep using this till it's done. By the end of the month, I'll probably retire this and use it as a brow mascara, because spoiler, I'm like nearly done with my brow pencil as well, and I don't have a replacement for that either. But back to Legends and Lattes. That was the book that my friend who recommended like those two books, that's the one she chose for the September book that we're reading, because it was her turn to pick this month. And by the way, like, I'm so sorry that you're seeing my mascara face. I try to cut it out, but I really don't have time to be doing that. But it honestly took me about halfway through the book to like get interested in it, because in my opinion, like, the real plot doesn't start until halfway through the book. The main character, Viv, is like a sellsword or a mercenary or something like that, and she decides to retire and like open a little cafe. The entire first half of the book is literally just about her opening the cafe, and I know that's the point of the book, but like, you need to, for me, you really need to have something else driving the story. So I think this book has just kind of reinforced the fact that I definitely am not a fantasy reader, which is okay. I think I can live with that. I have like at least 24 books on my to be read shelf, and then like another dozen on like as ebooks on my like virtual Nook that I have not gotten to. So I don't need to add another genre to the list, but it was my turn to pick for October, and I'm so excited because I chose a book that was like one of the very first books. This is, by the way, my Sephora brow pencil in the shade Ebony, but I chose, like, to keep up with the kind of like spookier, mysterious theme of October, I chose, of course, a mystery, which is like kind of murder mystery, but you don't actually know if it's a murder, or like it's not a detective, so not really a murder mystery, but it's like along those lines. It's called Then She Was Gone. It's one of the first books that I bought when I started getting back into reading again, and I still haven't read it. So that's why I chose it for October. But I'm really, really excited to read this because the author of this book, I guess, is like kind of a more well-known mystery author. So if I like this book, I'll probably buy the others of hers that I was really interested in. But I didn't want to buy any more of her books until I read this one, because, like, in case I just didn't like her writing style. But I am so excited to read this book. Just a little bit about it. I haven't read the summary in like 6 months probably, but it's about this mom whose like kid goes missing and they never find out like what happened, and then years later she ends up like finally dating again, and she dates this guy and they have like kind of a happy life together, and then these things start happening, and then, at least what I gathered from the summary, it's like, it seems like the guy could potentially be connected to her daughter's disappearance. So I'm just very excited to read it. Mystery, as you know if you've been watching my channel, mystery is my favorite genre to read. I'm going to put my Milani brow wax on, and then I'll choose a lip product to wear. But yeah, I'm just so excited for October, and this will actually be, because like my friend and I have been doing book club for a few months now, but this will be like just this past month we finally recruited a third sucker into the group. So now we have 3 people, and we're finally gonna do like an actual formal meetup now that we have a third person. The logistics of actually meeting up are difficult because one of us lives out of town, one of us is in school, and doing stuff for school like 6 days a week, and then I will be out of town many times until the end of the year. I'm just gonna take off my lip mask. I was using the LYS lip oil in hot chocolate. I'm gonna take this off of my lips and then choose a lip color. Okay, all of the products that I was going to use are in my purse from when I went out last night, so I'm gonna improvise, and I think I'm going to put this lip liner from NYX all over my lips and then add actually a purple tone lip oil on top of it. We're just gonna see how this ends up looking. But first, so that the lip liner doesn't move around, I'm gonna put my ColourPop lip primer on, and I'm gonna put this is the Line Loud in the shade Total Baller, just all over my lips. This is not in a project, but I am trying to finish it, so okay, I'm not gonna talk while I do this because this breaks really easily, and I don't want it to break because I don't have a sharpener next to me. And literally in one use, I was able to bring it from newly sharpened to completely flat, so that's really good for usage. This is pretty dark. I don't even remember what Steph was wearing on her lips, but that wasn't really the point of this video anyway. I'm gonna put this Milani lip oil in the Blackberry Agave shade on top. I've never used this on top of anything, so I'm interested to see how it affects the color because these aren't too pigmented. I mean, it didn't really affect the color all that much at all. It is like slightly more berry, but other than the gloss, you can't really tell the difference, which is totally fine with me. I just like something on top of this, or else it does get pretty drying. It is a really creamy lip liner, but it does dry down, just like the Revlon lip liners. They're very creamy when you put them on, and then they do dry down. The last step, which you don't need to see, is me putting on the clear brow gel on top of the like dry brow wax so that it just holds even better, and then that'll be the finished look. That is everything. So this is the finished look. Do you think I was able to recreate the eyes from Steph's look, which I'll have on the screen again? I don't think I really did, to be honest, but I mean, just the inspiration was enough to create an eyeshadow look that I really like. I think it's so beautiful. I think hers was so beautiful. I just love these tones together, green and gold, and then like a neutral look as well, like grungy greens. Those are my favorite looks, so I'm really happy with this. I like the lip that I paired with it, and yeah, just using a lot of my Project Pan items as well, like I do every day. But that's all I have for you. This video is long enough. Thank you so much for watching. Give me some good book recommendations, but that's all. I'll just have to see you in my next video. Until then, I hope you have a great day. Bye.